Hi everyone, welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. Happy Thursday. How are you doing? Hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Welcome. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Dory, Polo Guy, the Chickens, the Hulk, and Victor's community. All of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, guys. Haven't been on this space for a couple of days. I know a lot's been going on. Well, actually, a lot's been going on, but not really a lot. It's kind of weird. I think it's just a lot of noise as usual in the royal space. So, but I am glad that our faves are minding their business and not getting involved in any of the noise and just, doing whatever it is they're doing under a tree in Montecito. So we're just going to leave them there to do what they need to do. No need to be, no need to be addressing anything or, making their voice known in any way. We know what they are. We know who they are and what they stand for. And so I am just very, very happy that they are, happy and hopefully at peace and hopefully, not letting all of this drama get to them. So, but I'm happy to be here, happy to be back. I teach Monday to Wednesday, so a lot of times it's really hard to teach and then lessons and all of those things, plans and all of that stuff, and then do a podcast, and it's been like crazy. So it's a little easier from Thursday on when I don't have that to worry about. And so so I am happy. I haven't spoken to you guys. I have not even been in the comments the last couple of days because I've been a little crazy, and so I am very happy to put all of that away and get back to our family here. And so we can hang out and chat. Today is going to be really about us chatting. Most of it is going to be me and you just in the chat. Hopefully some of you would like to jump on the podcast and talk with me. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to put this before I even get to comments. So I'm going to put this link in the show in our chat. So if you'd like to come on and chat with me, that'll be awesome. Copy the clipboard. Okay. And I am going to put this here, paste, and okay, yeah. All right, so let's see if I can pin it there. Can I pin it? Yes. No, I can't. Okay. I almost put myself in timeout. Oh dear, that would not have been good. All right, so the link is in the chat. So if you'd like to call in and just chat with me, but we're just going to be chatting about what's going on. Again, our faves are calm and hopefully calm and just in a good space with their family. But anyways, great to see you guys here, Norma and Lorna. Hi, Church Nellie. How are you? My mom asked for you. She's like, where's Church Nellie? Because I asked the last time I did a podcast and you weren't here, and I was like, where's Church Nellie? So my mom was like, yeah, where is Church Nellie? And I was like, I don't know. I'm sure she's having moonshine somewhere. So I'm happy you're here. I know my mom will be happy that you're here. Baloney is here and Ray J. Oh, I don't know that I've seen you here before, but welcome. Farron and let's see, I said Baloney already. Lorna and Karen M, our awesome moderator. Other moderators here, and Ma Jones and Cam and Thierry and Dory, Lorna. Let's see who else is here. Rochelle is here. And Carol. Hello, guys. Let's see who else. As I scroll up. And Kathy, who's the first one here saying hello to me earlier. I was thinking, Kathy, maybe just both of us hanging out. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's what it was. Stretch Nelly says, my internet caught a case. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're having internet issues. That is, I know that very well. Yes. It's always like really, really wild when that happens. You know what? I always think back to how did we survive without internet before? Like, how did the world function? And it's great to know that the world functioned just fine, but just it's like now our internet go down and it's just like, what happened? Oh my gosh, we're gonna die. We don't have any internet. What are we gonna do? So Lord, Church Nelly was in witness protection from Nacho's wife. Well, Church Nelly, you have been jonesing on nachos. So I could see Delphina be like, okay, we have to deal with this person. Oh, thank you for the humor, Lorna. I needed that laugh. Oh my gosh, that is very funny. Very, very, very funny. I love it. Um, but all in all, I'm just happy you guys are here. I'm just like jumping through. And again, my the link, if you'd like to jump in and call us, that'd be awesome. Give everyone 2 minutes. There are just some guidelines. No, we're not talking on this podcast. We're giving no oxygen to the nasty book man. No energy, no oxygen to that whatsoever. I'm not going to even go there. And just keep it clean. Couple of minutes, come on, share, and just share your thoughts about what's happening in the world other than nasty book man. So that's my name for him. So whatever else you'd like to chat about in terms of the Sussexes, and that would be awesome. Let's see what you guys are all saying. Rachel, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Wow. It's so funny. When I said that, I almost did a Baron. You know how Baron says, thank you for supporting Royal Sussex. And he did that, as he does that deep voice. Thank you for supporting Royal Sussex. And for some reason, when I said it, it's like it almost popped in my mind. It's like, oh my gosh, I think I'm turning into Baron. So see, that's what happened when you watch Baron too often. But thank you so much, Ray J. I appreciate it. Trish said Delphine sent an internet demon, allegedly, possibly. Poor Delphine is like, I am just in Colorado enjoying my husband playing polo, and this woman is using my name. She is calling me out. At least I think that I haven't checked their social media in a bit. I'm assuming they're still out in Colorado. I know Nacho's been playing polo out there. And since Harry isn't there, I haven't been playing, watching or paying any attention to any kind of polo. But I think they're still out there right now playing for probably for the summer. So, let's see. What else are you guys chatting about? So what's on your mind, guys? What that's going on apart from Nasty Book Guy? Been going on that you'd like to talk about? I am here to chat. Again, I have been away for the last few couple of days. Not away, but mind focus on the babies and and a little bit of Twitter, but not a whole lot. And so what's going on? What's on your mind? Either put it in the chat, we'll talk about it, or feel free to call in. And the link is in the show note in the chat. So feel free. And I don't know how to. I was trying to pin it, but I don't know how to pin it. So maybe my system is a little old-fashioned. So yeah. But one thing, it's so funny with all the stuff going on with not really nothing with the Sussexes. Again, they're not a part of any of the mess that's happening. But I always just like to think of, especially Meghan. I look at these pictures and just the calmness on her face, and for me, that's all I wish for them. Wish the calm, wish the time to just focus on getting their projects done, focus on getting especially Meghan, her podcast. I just, and I'm hoping, praying, I guess, that her podcast come out on her birthday. I don't know. It's her birthday is coming up in a couple weeks, I think. Well, no, probably like a week. It's, oh my gosh, it's the 28th already. Oh my Lord, I'm not prepared. I'm not ready for August yet. I just like, oh wow, it's the 28th already. So in a few days it's gonna be her birthday. And so my wish, is that it comes out on her birthday and be a nice birthday present, for us. I don't know for her, but it'll be one for me. I'll be like, I'd be like really celebrating her birthday. But I just, that's my dream, that it'll come out on her birthday. Only because it's like my patience is like, I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to not be like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? But I don't know. I think also too is because of the topics that she's going to be talking about, and the little teaser that we had of it, that it's all topics that I want to hear so much about, and I want to hear her take, and the historians that she's spoken with, and get, and getting to the depth of what these words and why these words are here and where they come from and all of those things. I'm just really interested in all of that. So I'm really looking forward to it, and hoping and praying and keeping my fingers and toes crossed and everything else, that's what's going to happen, that it's, that it would be her birthday and that would come out then. So I just, I'm hoping and praying. And someone posted this does anybody know where this is from? I just saw this and I don't even know where it's from and what, and I was like, what is this? But it's the cutest thing. Little Miss Freckles and Meghan's name on there. And I don't know like what the deal is with this. Anybody know? So I thought I'd pull it in and ask you guys if you know what this is from. Because the post goes on to talk about it being says Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has always been wise. While in 8th grade, she authored a book called A Face Without Freckles is a Night Without Stars. And we know that is in the Library of Congress. And then this little thing with Meghan called A Little Miss Freckles. And so I don't know. I don't know what this is. I was just like, well, I'm going to pull it in and ask you guys if you know what this is. I have no idea. I was like, I mean, it's the cutest thing in the world, and with a little girl with a little freckles. But I was like, I have no idea. So, Well, the book she wrote, yeah, it's Denise is asking, isn't that the book she wrote? Well, yeah, she wrote a book. And again, the book is called A Day Without Freckles is Like a Night Without Stars. But that's not. But the cover of the book and stuff is a drawing that she drew of herself. It's not this. So I didn't know where this was from. And so, but yeah, she has the book, but again, the pictures that's in there that at least we've seen is her drawing a picture of herself with her poofy hair and all of that stuff. But it wasn't this. So I just didn't know if anyone knew and could enlighten me, because I don't have a clue. I just thought it was cute. I was like, oh, I guess I needed some cuteness in my life. So it's like, having cute moments all week. So it's like, it's good to have cute things in your life. So anyway, moving on. And then Misan Harriman, the photographer who took these photos when Meghan was pregnant, posted this a couple of days ago. Or no, wait, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. He posted this. And I think for a couple of reasons, he posted, he says, an observation of love, and goes on to talk about, how you can create beauty really with just about anything. And it says a virtual shoot shot on an 8 megapixel iPad camera. You can always create with tools you have. But for me, it's more the observation of love. And I think, yes, it was about camera and all of that stuff, which is great. As a photographer, I love that. But I think more for me was the observation of love. And I love her friends, and especially like Misan, really just because he always talks about their love, that the love that they have between them. And I think it's so important to remember that. Again, we don't know, I don't know Harry and Meghan. I've never met them. I mean, I still have my little blurry photo from them like a mile away from me. We don't know what goes on in people's home or anything like that. But we know that, those on Shutter Island and some of those here who are just incredibly jealous of this couple and their relationship will do nothing more. They are all about, let's break them up. Let's do the most we can to cause friction or cause whatever between this family. And it's like, why? It is such a beautiful thing to see. Their love and to see their friends express that and to show that. And it's just, for me, I don't know, I just felt comforted by it, that their friend is doing that, because again, people love piling on to things. It's just one of those things. And for me, just love seeing her friends just express that. I don't know, it made me feel good to see it. I was gonna move this little banner from there. Not little, that thing is huge. So yeah. Let's see. Karen says Lily is so cute with her little freckles too. It's so funny with Lily. At first, I was having a hard time with just it's like, she's such a cross between Harry and Meghan. And we were like, who does she look like? Who does she look like? And then I saw a picture of Meghan at The Hague. And if I had thought about it, I'd probably just bring it into comparison. And it's so funny how much she looks like Meghan. It's like, the way her face is shaped and her eyes, she looks so much like Meghan. She is a darling. She is such a cutie. Again, I love babies, so it's like, just so adorbs. Let's see. Fire says Oprah says she's never met an in-sync and sweet couple as Meghan and Harry, and so many people that have been around them say the same thing about them. And it's so wild to me how extreme the divide is between the people who have actually met and been around Harry and Meghan and the people who are the loudest, shouting about who they think they are. The divide is so drastic. It's like the people who know them all say the same thing about them, how amazing they are and how sweet and how loving they are as a couple and just to actual people. And the ones who don't know them scream the loudest about how awful they are. And it's just like, my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen that wide of a divide in any situation. I mean, it is just like drastically night and day. It's unbelievable to me. It's just, yeah, it is unreal. Let's see. Farron says, hello, Farron says, I'm always worried for the Sussexes because there are so many deranged people out there, which can cause others to do them harm. And that is very true. That is very true. And that is why they have security. And they have the security here. And whenever they go to the UK, that's what they're working on getting back now. And if you guys, I mentioned it in the last episode, the whole narrative about Harry, his fight to get back security and to pay for his own security. It's amazing how the narrative has changed. Before it was like, how dare he? If you leave the royal family, you lose your privilege. How dare you think that you can, pay for police department, Metropolitan Police? They're not for sale. And there are all these bombastic, statements and claims about this thing. And it's just like, that is such a lie. People pay for Metropolitan Police all the time. Hello, your former Prime Minister, Tony Blair, does the same thing. You have to explain how he's able to do it. what's her name was just in the UK. What I think it was Nicki Minaj or one of those guys had put, on police protection. Like, well, did your taxpayers pay for Nicki Minaj's protection, or did Nicki Minaj have to pay for her own her own protection? I mean, it's ridiculous. I think it was Nicki Minaj, one of these artists. I think it was Nicki. That had police protection, and it's just like they do it all the time. But there's this, I don't understand why people just lie like that. They just like bold-faced lie. Metropolitan Police is not for sale. I mean, no, they're not for sale, or whatever, but you can pay for their services. That is an absolute fact. So I don't know why they make those claims, and then they go on television and make those claims, and it's like, but you're not telling the truth. So, but then again, they're royal reporters, so I guess you don't expect the truth from them. But I wish more, like when they say it on American television, I wish reporters here, as we talked about the last episode, I wish reporters in the US were not as lazy as they are. Because this laziness, a lot of areas they're not. They do their work, they're on it, but for some reason, when it comes to royal reporting, reporters in the US who are in interviewing royal reporters from the UK, they just fall into this lazy pattern where they don't do any homework, so they can't challenge anything, they can't fact check anything because they don't know anything. And so it's like, it'll be, even Robert Jobson did, I saw a clip of him on, what was it? Good Morning America, I think. I think it was Good Morning America, one of them. Anyways, and he was being interviewed about Harry's security. And that was one of the things he said, and it's sort of like, flippantly, of course, he wants the Metropolitan Police he wants to pay for the police, but, that's not how, we don't do that. We don't pay for the Metropolitan Police or something like that, he said. And it's just like, George Stephanopoulos, who was the one interviewing him, if he was knowledgeable about the ins and outs of the Metropolitan Police, which he should have, because he should have done his homework, he could have said, well, actually, no, that's not the truth. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting to me how in so many ways that American journalism, they are up on their thing. They know that they can come back and challenge, but it's a willful ignorance. It's just late, whatever it is. Or they just want to sell whatever it is, the UK is selling in terms of royalty, because, they know they have a market here. But it's really interesting and annoying that is the case. So again, if it wasn't for Sussex Squad, nobody would be calling this stuff out. They would never be calling out, they don't fact check. They do not fact check things that comes out of the UK. And even though they know that there's a lot of lies involved, they just don't do it. Farron Scarlett. Farron says, the Reverend Curry who spoke at their wedding says he could see the love between the two of them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, look, we are all human. Nobody's perfect. And anybody who's been in a relationship, we all know, it was like, nobody's perfect. But you can see when two people love each other, they care about each other, they have a good relationship. I mean, of course, people, things could look very differently on the inside than it does on the outside. Absolutely. We don't know. We don't live with these people. We don't know what their everyday lives are like. But what we've seen is that it's just two people who just love each other and want to live their life, however they want to live their life. It's just like, leave them alone. Let them do that. So it's unreal. I don't think I've ever seen a situation where people are literally lobbying for two people to break up for no reason other than their own hate. It's unreal to me. I don't know this world, and I don't want to be shocked by it. I shouldn't be shocked by it. But I think the level of hate is something that I'm not used to. And it's just, man, it is hard to see that on the daily. It is. So I can only imagine what that, and again, I am so happy that Harry and Meghan are not on social media, so they don't have to see any of this stuff. But they do have people that work for them that, that I'm sure have to look through social media to see what's there and to see, ways to protect them. Their security team has to look so that they can see, if there's any threat, and whatever. And they have to see this kind of thing. And so it's like, how do you protect the people that are around you from seeing this kind of thing? I'm telling you, thank God that Harry works at Better Up and they're really focused on mental health and mental fitness, because this will damage you. I mean, even if it's not this is not directed at me or at, say, us in the squad, but we feel this deeply because you care about someone. And if us who don't even know them personally feel this deeply, imagine the people who know them and have to come across these things on the daily. And so I've never ever seen this level of hate directed at people before. It's just, yeah. Karen says the haters want to pull them apart so that they can spew all the negative narratives. Yeah, absolutely. That is absolutely true. And they want to, because that will be, I guess they feel like that would be like our payment, I guess. We like, we said it will happen. We predicted it, and look at it, it's come true, and it's just like, well, okay, even if it comes true, how does that affect your life? I mean, how does that make your, improve your life in any way? So I don't understand. I don't understand celebrating, the demise of a relationship. Like, that doesn't could be like, how does that make your life better though? I don't understand that. Lorna says it's ridiculous. A lot of performance. It's ridiculous. A lot of performance pay for security with off-duty policemen. Yeah, they do. I think one of the sticking thing is like, they're like, well, maybe those people who they pay for don't carry guns. And I think that's one of the big issue with Harry, because he can bring his security to the UK. They just can't carry guns in the UK. And also they don't have access to updated, threat levels that, for example, Metropolitan Police have. So they don't have this. So they're basically, even if they bring their American security there, the security is basically walking blind. So they can't protect themselves, and they don't have any intelligence or at least updated intelligence for any kind of threat level in the UK. And so it's like, so the narrative is now changed from how dare Harry even bring that up? How dare he even challenge the Queen's government? How dare, and to now it's like, oh, it's costing the UK $100,000. Now they're trying to blame Harry for costing the UK $100,000. I'm like, if y'all had given the man the security and let him pay for it, it wouldn't have cost you $100,000 pounds. This is not Harry's fault. This is the Queen, her private secretary, Prince Charles' private secretary, the Queen's assistant private secretary, and all those secretive people in Ravek. That's their fault. That's who you put that on, because they shouldn't have pulled the security in the first place. And then when Harry asked for it back and offered to pay, they shouldn't have said no. So the only people to blame in this is your queen, your future king, and your home office. And, Ravek and all who are a part of that and make that stupid decision. That's who you blame for that. So I think now what is happening is now they're seeing that, oh, wait, and I'm sure, again, as I said before, I'm sure they know what Harry's goal, his end goal is to find out about his mother's security. I'm sure they know that. And now you can see them, the slow caving to be like, of course he needs a security, because we heard in the Robert Jobson coming out with that narrative. It would be crazy if something would have happened to them on UK soil. Would it be worth not giving them? I mean, can you imagine? You know what I mean? And so now they're softening, the softening of the tone is here. Even the harshest critics are now the tone of that is softening. So it's just, if y'all had given the guy the security in the first place, this would not have happened. That's all I gotta say. Denise says, complain, go to corporate office. Absolutely. That's who made this mess. This never should have gotten to this, ever. And the funny thing about this is that we would have never known if one of them didn't leak it. In order to hide Prince Andrew's mess, in order to hide Boris Johnson's mess, Either the royal family or somebody in the Home Office leaked that to the Daily Mail. That is how we got this story. This has been going on since last September and nothing came from Harry. Someone in the UK leaked this to hide, to hide Boris Johnson and Prince Andrew's mess, or I should say Prince Andrew's mess. And that's how we got this story. So this isn't something Harry wanted out there. It's like, y'all leak it. So then, you have to explain to the people why, now you're paying $100,000 for something that shouldn't have happened in the first place. It's all your fault. So there you go. Hi, Elaine Parker. Elaine says, hello. Hi, everyone from the UK. Well, I mean, I'm not in the UK, but let's see. Let's scroll down and see. Hi, Terry. Church Nelly says, I don't understand following people that you dislike just to leave hateful comments about people you don't even know. Make it make sense. I'm telling you, Church Nelly, I'm telling you, hate tweeting and hate watching things is something I don't think I'll ever understand. I don't understand why I would sit there and be following someone night and day, 24/7, following everything that person, if I don't like the person, like, why? I don't even understand that thinking. I mean, on this show, we sometimes feature, like now we're talking about, Harry's security stuff. And sometimes we feature, stuff from, the other royals. But I don't spend my day looking up and following, the ins and outs of Kate and William and their lifestyle. Like, I can't even imagine, spending my day, tweeting or reading and leaving comments about people that I honestly don't care about. And so people do that on the daily. And I'm telling you, I think it's some kind of a disease or something. I don't, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Let's see. Nalafando, hi, how are you? I hope I just said your name correctly. Says the current abnormal hatred directed at H&M is based on racism. I don't believe that it has anything to do with what they have done. They haven't done anything to deserve any of the hatred that comes to them. They literally have done nothing to deserve any of that. Not that anybody, we should be hating people as the level of hatred that you see sometimes, no matter what, but they have not done anything to deserve any of that, so there's definitely racism. No matter how much people want to, they're just like doing the most to try to discredit anything Meghan says or Harry says, because they just don't want to be called racist. And I was like, if you don't want to be called racist, don't be racist. That's my thing. But yeah, it's definitely they're trying to bring in every reason why they are hateful, every reason why it's like, no, it's not racism, she just did. And you're like, then you ask for like, okay, well, can you tell me exactly what she did that caused you to hate her this much? And there's never a reason. There's never something, that anything concrete that they can point to. And again, this comes from grooming. If you don't understand the power of the British tabloids grooming people, just look at people, and when you see them do that, ask them, okay, well, can you give me specific example of what they did? Or can you show me an example where Meghan said, they're leaving because they want privacy, or even little things like that. They would swear Harry and Meghan said that. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, can you send me some, an article or a video or anything where they literally said all those things? And you will never hear from them, And so it's like, you see the power of grooming. It's like a lot of them hate, and they don't even know why they hate, because they were told to hate. And it's been drummed into their head to hate. And that, there was an article from I think it was not Declassified. It was Byline Investigates. It talks about the monstering of Meghan Markle. And it is just unreal how the British press has, and what they've done is monstered her. And they do that. The basic aim of that is to kill the person and or destroy their life, and which is what they've been doing. And they would, groom people to the point where they would literally hate. And this is what you're seeing. It's unreal to watch stuff like that happen. And it's like it's happening right before our eyes, and nobody's saying a word. Well, other than Sussex Squad, the rest of them is, yeah. Church United says that's what exactly it is. It's exactly what it is. Except people don't want, because they're living their lives freely, they don't want to believe that they're in a cult. They don't want to believe that that's what has happened to them. But when you ask them specific questions, they can never answer it. And it's like, well, I just don't like her. And, and it's like, they can never tell you why. And it's unreal to watch it right before your eyes. So yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, what else I have here? I just love this. I mean, just switching the subject completely there. This is where I needed that music to switch. I just love this. I mean, I am still on the Prince Harry at the UN thing, but I just love how they this luxure, I guess how they say this. It's like Dior presents Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and I don't know. It's just the silliest thing. I just came across it and I thought, I like that. I don't know, and again, I'm not into fashion, so I don't know, all the ins and outs of how these things work. But I think it would be kind of cool because Meghan wears a lot of Dior. I mean, she wore Dior at the church thing that they had for the Jubilee. And, on a side note, before we come back to this, wasn't the Jubilee supposed to do like a major, I don't know, financial, shouldn't it have been like this major financial boom in the UK? Wasn't that the part of the selling of spending all that money on the Jubilee? They spent all these millions doing this major party. Wasn't there supposed to be like an economic boom from that? And all of a sudden I'm hearing about, their people are not being able to eat, have money to eat, cost of living, people. I mean, everybody is struggling in so many ways. And I'm like, where is the economic boom that was supposed to come from the Jubilee? And I'm sorry, I just completely switched there. But as I was talking about Meghan and her Dior, it occurred to me that I have not seen any kind of, for the money they spent on the Queen, who showed up like twice, just showed her face twice on the balcony, or was it 3 times? I think she lit a candle or a light bulb or something like that she lit. But for all the money they spent, I have not heard of the economic boom. So maybe I missed it. So maybe you guys can, show me, if they may have had it there and I just completely missed it, but I don't see it. But anyways, coming back to this, Meghan wore Dior there. Harry is in Dior there. I would really love to see them be maybe the face of Dior. That could be a brand that they can, they can work with. Dior is very classy. I mean, as we've seen, Meghan has worn their outfits a few times, and she even had the Duchess bag from Dior. I think, and I don't know if that's something that they would be thinking, but they could do kind of a brand thing with Dior and have a contract where they really, wear Dior's fashion and stuff like that. I think it would be a great fit. I mean, I don't know fashion and I don't know how all that stuff work, but I don't know. This Dior presents Prince Harry thing, I'm like, I really kind of like it. I really, really, really kind of like it. So, and this could be a big financial boom for them, because we know whatever Meghan wears sells out, because I mean, Dior is not going to lose out at all if Meghan is the face of Dior. So, I just think, it'll be a win-win there, and Meghan will have incredible clothes too. Lana said the Jubilee was a bust when it came to making money. there was a report out. Oh, there you go. No wonder there was a report out, and if it was a boom, I'm sure they would have been blasting it, and that's why I guess I hadn't seen anything about it being, like what the results were, because I literally have not seen any benefit for this Jubilee. I have not seen where the people of the UK have benefited at all. I mean, we think about those books, the money, what was that, $20 million or whatever they took to print those books for every school child. Imagine how many people could have been fed with that money that they used to print these books about the Queen. How many people are starving in the UK right now? Though, at least get some air conditioner and all that stuff happening in the heat. And I mean, there could have been so many things they could have done with that money that they used to print those books to kids who, I'm sure parents probably like tossed that aside or something. But it is ridiculous. Annie says Meghan doesn't like to be being tied to one brand. In my opinion, that's fine too. You are right. I mean, she wears different people, especially ethically sourced brands. So that could be a issue too. I guess if they were to do a Dior thing, that might be exclusive. Or maybe they could have a non-exclusive contract. I mean, again, this is me just talking. I have no idea how these things work. It's just stuff that just popped in my mind. And so I'm just like talking. So, but I don't know. I thought it could be a cool thing. But you're right. Meghan does like different brands. Let's see. Kathy says Meghan loves to support smaller brands. There you go. She does. She's free to choose, and so everyone gets a chance in the spotlight. Dior will be fine. That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. She does love the smaller brands and to give them some, and whenever she wears or one of their outfits or jewelry or whatever, it's always sold out. So it gives them good business. So yeah. Yeah, that is very true. Classy Lacroix. Let's see, Classy, what did you have to say? Just came from another squatty, and I'm hearing about Willie's pegging. Were you aware? All I have to say about that is whenever I go on Twitter and there's a word that has apparently come out of the UK and I Google search it, I'm always regretting it. That's all I'm going to say. And I want to shut down my computer and run away. I have now learned after today that anytime there's anything that apparently comes from the UK and there's a word that I don't know and I've never heard of in my life and I have to go Google search, my motto now is don't. You just don't want to know. That is all I'm going to say on that. And the other thing is, it's been trending all morning. And that's all I'm going to say. Fancy says, don't look. Yeah, I wish I had that. I wish I had that advice when I decided to go Google searching, because I'm like, I never heard of that before. And I was just like, can I use soap and water to wash out my brain and wash out my eyes? I was just like, that is not what I wanted to see first thing in the morning. I just didn't want to know that. I was just like, I'm going to stay away from foreign words that come from the UK from now on. Far away. I'm just going to be like, what on earth? Rochelle says, I will not Google it. It might blind me. Trust me, it will, Rochelle. Trust me, it will. Learn from my experience. Don't. But I will say, though, and I tweeted this earlier this morning, is the royal family and the British and their cahoots in the British press need to understand something. There is nothing. The internet does not have a invisible contract. It doesn't exist in the internet. So they're gonna learn the hard way when they come at Meghan. Whatever ditch they dig for her to fall into, the people that's gonna fall into that ditch is the royal family. namely Kate and William. So they need to understand that every time they come at Meghan, something like this is going to happen. It's been happening all the time. And for some reason, they still have not learned this lesson. They are still doing stuff like from the 90s or something. They think this is in Princess Diana Day when they can just attack and attack and attack and destroy her, and they have no comeback. Nobody is coming after them. And it's like, you do that sort of thing, you dig ditches for the Sussexes, you're going to have blowback, and more than likely, you're going to be the one trending in a bad way. And it's happened so many times. You would think they would learn by now. And it's like, they're not learning. They're just not learning. Classy says, I was shocked when I Googled it. Wow. Yes, I definitely am the same way. Manzola says, Pedal, I and you both need water to wash our eyes. That's how I feel, like water to wash my eyes, my mind, my everything. Like, that is not what I wanted to see first thing in the morning. And that's because, when you have a curious mind like mine and you want to know everything, it's like, what is that? Let's Google. And it's like, sometimes I wish that to take the curiosity down a level, because then I would not have had that experience first thing in the morning. So yeah, it's just, there are just certain things I'm like, I could have not known that. I would have been okay if I didn't know that part. It's just unreal. LMZ. Okay, I hope I said that right. LMZ says, if they don't leave Meghan alone, they shall know no peace. We've been saying this to them for all these years, and they still don't get it. They still don't get it. They are not going to know peace. And they're just like, oh my gosh. And it seems the press has picked up the whole, that word, and one of the UK press has decided to do an article, or at least post an article on what it is. And it was just like, okay, this is when I get off Twitter. I don't even want to hear. I don't want to know. I just don't want to hear any more about it. I'm just gonna run away. I don't want that image in my head. Annie says, Pedal, they said hard head makes a soft behind. They are hard-headed people. They just, like, I have never seen where people just and it's not that they can't learn, they just refuse to learn. They just think, okay, my way or the highway, this has worked in the past. It worked, and it's like, people, and I keep writing this on Twitter, it's like, people, there's something called the internet. It is actually here. There's something called Google search. There's something, it is like, you can look up anything. You can find old articles. You can find receipts all over the internet. It's like, you keep telling them you can't do stuff like attack people the way you did in Princess Diana days. There's too much stuff out here about you that we could use against you. And they just don't learn. They just don't learn it. Honor or heal. Utterly unreal. Yes, definitely karma, definitely. And I like to say definitely the ancestors as well. So I totally agree with you, Wendy. Karma has, she's been hovering over the UK for a number of things, so. Ferrin says, people in the UK have been struggling long before the Jubilee, I meant to say. That is so true, which is why, for me, using all the money that they used to have this Jubilee, it's like they cared more about the party than the actual people. Because they have been struggling we remember, what was it, last summer, when Marcus Rashford had to literally guilt Tory party members, MPs, into funding lunch programs for children. They had, kids were going without food because school was out and they ate at school and the parents can't afford, I guess, to give them meals for lunch. And, you want at least, the least you can do is have 3 meals for your kids. They couldn't afford it. And Marcus Rashford had to use his own money. And then the Tory MPs were like, no, we're not doing it. They wouldn't pass whatever it is they needed to pass to make sure that these kids have food. He literally had to guilt them into doing it. And the royal family did nothing to help. And so that's what, for me, makes it so egregious that they would take all that money. They had that money. Instead of feeding hungry children and feeding hungry families, they took that money to do this multi-million-dollar party for the Queen, and then there is no economic boom from that. Why aren't people protesting this? Why aren't people going back and holding all who, including the royal family, all who have been responsible for doing this mess? Why aren't they protesting more about this stuff? Because what benefit, other than 3 days of, whatever the celebrations were? I'm sure they were fun in the moment, but who did it feed? The royal family got to have, good press and whatever press, throughout the time. But the rest of the people are, now they're starving. And not to say everyone in the UK is, but there's a large population in the UK that are not doing well right now financially. And that is an understatement. It's unreal to me. Let's move on. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. What Gwendolyn says, I read a post from H&M Hater saying that they are surprised that they haven't sued the writer most recent trash book. I have to remind her that silence is powerful and golden. Absolutely. Silence, that's what they want for attention. And so, yeah, silence is golden. And that's why Harry and Meghan are completely silent. Who would want to be any part? That's just ridiculous. You don't want to be part of any of that nonsense. You get to a place where you're above that kind of things. That's gross. That's why we're just not giving it air here. Jessica says, I admit I have never heard the term before today. Twitter opened my eyes. Now I just can't unsee it. Join the club, Jessica. We're all in that club. And that's why I said the next time I see any word on Twitter that I've not seen and I know it originates from the UK, I am not looking. I don't care what it is. I am not looking. I am not going to Google search. I'm going to tame my curiosity and stay away. Oh, Lydia is here. Hello, Lydia. How are you? Our awesome moderator. She's to saying hello to Ruth and Theory. I'm so happy you're here, but unreal. I think unreal is now my new buzzword. Why do I keep saying that word all the time? I don't know why I say it, but it's for some reason I keep saying it. Let's see. Wendy says, make it make sense. Just came out of COVID crisis, Brexit screwed up, recession, war in Ukraine, food banks. Let's have a jubilee. Insane. It is. Get that word again. It really is insane. It really is. Like, I don't understand it, especially when a large part of your population is struggling. I don't understand it. I will never, ever understand it. Thank you so much, Jackie, for your support. Pelly, you're doing a great job. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Jackie. I appreciate your support. Thank you, and your financial support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, it just, talk about the Ukraine. Oh, goodness. Did you guys see this? Where is that photo? Hang on one second. Did y'all see this? I was just like, I wish I could say that I'm surprised because of, past stuff. But I don't know if Baron and Duchess of Success, they may have talked about this already. But it was just as one of those things. I was just like, yep, okay, I could see that. I could totally see that. from what we, at the beginning, obviously everyone was supporting Ukraine, and everyone, including myself. I mean, and it's definitely, what the president has done, really fighting for his country and not backing down, and standing strong. That is commendable. That is very commendable, no matter what the situation. But the other narrative that's come out of the Ukraine is just the racism that is there. Perpetuated against Black and brown people in the Ukraine. I mean, we remember these stories. And this was kind of, one of many like it. It's from Euronews. It says the treatment of Africans. The treatment Africans are facing in Ukraine is despicable, but why are we surprised? That when Russia invaded the Ukraine on the 24th February, civilians attempted to flee the country. The borders of Poland, Hungary, and Romania were oversubscribed quickly, leaving days-long queues of people trying to escape the war zone. Among those queuing were those of Ukrainian descent, but also a large number of African students and professionals. As the situation grew worse, and another issue became evident and grew more pressing. Africans trying to escape Ukraine were being racially discriminated against. Videos quickly spread online of Africans being prevented from leaving the country as authorities operated on Ukrainian first policy. Ukrainian men, women, and children were allowed to board buses and board trains and buses to the border first. Even if an African made it onto the train or bus, they were removed. And that was what was happening there at the time. And so when we found out, I mean, we even addressed that on this on an episode of this podcast about the racism that was in Ukraine at the time. And so when that was happening, I mean, there was so much of it. I pretty much had to take my leave of the Ukraine. I kept supporting in terms of the Invictus Games, as we were all supporting this young lady whose mom, Kyra, whose daughter went to the Invictus Games because Kyra was kidnapped by Russian forces. And so I kept, my support in terms of that because of the Invictus Games. But the rest of the Ukraine, I pretty much left, and again, we were doing World Central Kitchen, the fundraiser. Part of that did go to Ukraine. And then, it's humanitarian aid. People need it. People are hungry, whatever, But in terms of, my supporting I abstained because of the prevalence of racism in this country. So when I saw this, and I was like, yeah, this certainly tracks for me from what I've seen, and what it was like. This certainly tracks when I saw, President Zelensky. I mean, there are millions of reporters that this man could choose. There are reporters all over the world that this man could have chosen to do this interview with him and his wife. Yet he chose Garbage Twin. He's aligned himself with Rupert Murdoch. One of the, talk about the grandfather or the father of fake news, and the father of a lot of what is destabilizing democracy around the world. This is who Zelensky has decided to partner up with. Because if you partner up with Garbage Twin, well, Garbage Twin and his show is Rupert Murdoch's. And that is who Zelensky is now partnered up himself with, and we know Rupert Murdoch is, what he's about is white supremacy. And so it's just like, for me, that totally tracks. It totally tracks of what they are. And I was just like, that's why I'm like, I'm going to leave y'all to fight your war. I'm staying far away from it, because I'm telling you, the way, and there was a picture, and I couldn't find a picture of a Garbage Twin with these women, these other women there in the Ukraine. And it was just the most uncomfortable picture that, here's this man who his whole narrative, everything about him is abuse women, especially women of color and, Black women, abusive, bullying, harassing. I mean, all of these things that this garbage twin does, yet that is who Zelensky aligns himself with. And it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave y'all in the trash because it's like you decide, you basically tell the world who you are by who you decide to align yourself with. And for me, this is the perfect example of when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. When I started seeing these reports about, the way they treat Black people in the Ukraine, I was like, yeah, these are people telling us who they are. We need to believe them. So I'm glad I believed. I'm glad I believed from the first time, because it's like, yikes. Of all the people you choose, this is who you choose. I'm like, unreal. Joy says the interview PSM thinks will give him some credibility. Again, not that he ever had it. He doesn't. They are, I mean, I don't think for this is about for them. Well, I'm sure for Garbage Twin, yeah, he wants credibility because it shows tanking, and it's been tanking the whole time. And this will, because people look at Zelensky as a hero and all of that stuff. So whether he gets a bounce from it, I'm sure he'll get some bounce, because at least right-wing America will, or right-wing UK will want to watch this. But I think the bigger thing for me is, align, it just kind of shows Zelensky that where his head is at. It's like, you claim like Russia is there doing propaganda and fake news, but you just align yourself with the father of fake news. So frankly, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, different. You are no different, because you're aligning yourself with a propagandist who's working for Rupert Murdoch. Again, the man whose news agency and his companies have been central to destabilizing democracies like the US. How do you think we got to, January 6th last year? How do you think that came about? Who was behind all of those things? Who do you think? And that's who he aligned himself with. And it's just like, what? I'm telling you, I'm at the point where I'm thinking, like, look, and I don't know this for you, but this is how I feel like, if there's a choice between, say Black people and these people, Black people and say Putin in these people's mind, I'm sure in spite of all he's done, they would choose him over us. That's the kind of people these people are. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stay letting them, it just. And Farron is saying, obviously, the whole Europe is like that, Pedal, not just Ukraine. A lot of it, absolutely, absolutely true. Absolutely true. There's so much of it there. It's to the point I'm feeling like, when you find pockets where it's not, it's surprising. That's how I feel there, And also, one of the things that just came out is apparently Zelensky and his wife did like a photo shoot for Vogue. And I'm like, you're in the middle of a war, you're doing photo shoot. And, look, this man has been for what? A year and a half in the middle of a war. Don't begrudge him something nice. But that's kind of tacky. The rest of your country is being bombed and you're doing a photo shoot for Vogue. I mean, I only saw one picture, so I don't know if it's a whole spread or whatever. I only saw one picture and I wasn't thinking about it when I was putting this together. But it's just like, okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to go. But it just, and again, I don't want to begrudge someone who has been the target of, terrorists, or the target of, people who are really out to get him. And again, I want to preface this with saying what he has done, as a leader of his country is remarkable. Is remarkable, to stand there and fight in the face of bombs dropping on your cities and your country. You can't take that away from him. He did good. But, and then you look on the other side of it and it's like, oh wow, so even though he did good, like, I'm not there to call anybody hero here. There are no heroes here for me. because you look on the other side where, especially the way they treat Black and brown people, it's just like, eeks, you know? So that's why for me, I'm like, you may just leave y'all to fight you. It will stay far away from that, So yeah, unreal. Lydia just says, oh, Baron has moved his chat to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please continue if your schedule allows. Oh, wow, thank you, Lydia. Thank you. So everybody who's was gonna jump over the Baron, his chat is now gonna be at 2. So yeah. So we'll all jump over there. And I hadn't been able to be on the live Monday to Wednesday is a little crazy because I am in class until about 3 almost. Oh no, that just reminds me. I forgot to clock out yesterday. Whoops. Oh no. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know, you guys, but I don't know. Do you guys work in a job where you have to clock in and clock out? I'm just having the hardest time with this, and I'm so sorry. I just remembered and just sort of just blurted that out. I didn't mean to, but I don't know. Do you guys, I have to clock in and clock out, and I don't remember because I don't work in. Oh God. Okay, well, all right. Now you know my life. Creatives, and we don't use. Am I gonna have to ask them oh, thank you, Lydia. Lydia's like, they can fix it. Okay, thank you. I completely forgot. So anyway. And Jerry says, milking that clock pedal, wink, wink. Maybe I should be like, yes, I've been working since 10 o'clock. Well, no, actually it started at 9. Since 9 o'clock yesterday without a break, and now it's the next day. So maybe you should pay me for the whole time. Oh my gosh. Oh, Lord. I don't know how people remember this stuff. You have to do this, like you clock in and you clock out, and it's just that is a lot to remember. So anyways, moving on from my drama. Sugar Queen says, but Petal, the job to the country is not done. I could see this possibly happening after the war ended. The focus for me is wrong. And I think that's what I feel like too. It just, yeah, especially the photo shoot thing. And again, I only saw one picture, and so it is kind of weird because it's still going on. People are still dying. People, bombs are still falling. And again, you don't want to begrudge someone a moment of joy or happiness or some beauty when they have been, have bombs raining on them for, what is it, 6 months, when did it start? Like February, whenever it started, I think. And this has been months and months and months. So you don't want to begrudge, and I don't want to begrudge something beautiful happening with him and his wife. But these decisions it makes you go, what are these people? It just seems it's wrong. And I think I guess the publicity and all of that, one of the things you hope that, for his people's sake, that's not going to the head. It's very easy for fame and stuff like that to go to your head. He was a performer. That is something that is very much, performers we struggle with, stuff like that, fame and stuff like that go to your head and you buy into that kind of narrative. And so again, teaming up with Garbage Twin and Rupert Murdoch is just, that's a no for me. I couldn't support, even if I wanted to, I could not support anything that had to do with that. It's just, for all the choices you have, that be the one you go for, the one who is, fake news wall to wall, and that is who he chooses. And again, with his Garbage Twins, his whole shtick is about abusing women. And I just don't get it. It's like unreal, but that's the choice they make. And so again, when people tell you who they are, believe them the first time. Glad I did. Let's see. Veronica says, Pedal, that's okay. Sorry I misspelled your name. It's fine. I've heard enough variations of my name to, it's fine. I don't get bothered with stuff like that. So you're good. Uh, Ruth says, the Brit gutter press only learned one thing from Caroline Flack's suicide, that they cause death, misery, and sell, and that they are never held accountable. All profit, no responsibility. And that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. They know that they can do this and there's no responsibility, and people will still buy their paper. The fact that, especially the Sun and the Daily Mail are the top selling newspapers in the UK tells you enough. And one of the things that is always aggravating to me is the people in the UK with high profiles, especially on Twitter, those blue checks, who rage against articles in the Daily Mail and the Sun on the Daily, yet they're the ones posting screenshots of them or retweeting, and then it's like you're retweeting an article, a negative article, and then fake outraging. You're like, oh, how could they say this? But then you retweet or you screenshot and share their hate. So how are you helping? And so for me, it's very hard for me to take any kind of outrage against especially the tabloids in the UK. It's very hard for me to take it seriously, because the same people who are claiming they're outraged are the ones that are sharing the articles and sharing the screenshots. And I don't care. It's like, they're not doing a link, whatever. I don't care. You're sharing it. And that is what they want you to do. You're spreading their message, whether inadvertently or not. So it's like they know that they're not going to be any pushback, because again, one of the things you notice, especially with the UK press and the government, the royal family, and I think it was either from Byland Investigates have like a podcast. I think it was either them or Double Down News. They were talking about the incestuous relationship that the British press, that members of the British press have with the government and the royal family. Because a lot of them, like in the press, are married to people who are working in the British government or married to somebody within the royal family. And so they have this incestuous relationship where, someone in the government is married to someone in the press. And it's just like, well, how can you be impartial? You know what I mean? It's your husband. And it's just like, it's unreal how many relationships that they have like that. So you can never get anything straight when it comes to the royal family, the British press, and the government. Because again, they have a lot of boyfriends and girlfriends that are one working here and one working the other. And so you're like, you can never get stories straight from this place. And that's why they're a mess. Judge Nelly says, feel better. Oh, whoa. Feel better soon, Patricia. The last booster had my arm sore for 2 months. Ooh, I am so sorry, Church Nelly. And Patricia, I hope it's not COVID. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you do feel better. I'm assuming you got your booster. Everybody had such different reactions to the vaccines. My arm was, goodness, they did say that it was going to be painful. And for the first day, I literally could not lift my arm. It was so painful. But then by the end of the second day, it was fine. And that has been my experience with all my shots and the booster. Yeah. So everyone, and then I think my roommate had hers and she was completely fine. She didn't have any problems at all, not much pain at all. Once I felt like really sick a little bit with it, but by the next day I was totally fine. And then some people just totally took them out. And so our bodies are just so different in how it has reacted to the vaccines and also how it has reacted to COVID. It's unreal. So yeah. Let's see more of you. Hey, if you want to call in, let me put it in the chat again, just in case someone wants to call in and and chat with me for a couple minutes. So it's in the chat. If you want to call and say hello and share your thoughts that way, that is cool. We're just staying in the chat and just running our mouth. I'm just running my mouth as usual, as we say in the Caribbean. You're just running your mouth. um, let's see. Barbara, hello Barbara. Barbara says, I not thought about the orders coming from the top or blocking people of color trying to escape coming from the higher up. So sad. Wow. I don't know where the orders were coming from, whether it was coming from the top or people just, their racist behavior just coming out and it wasn't something. But what I do know is, there wasn't much of a condemning that behavior. At least I don't see, and I could be wrong about this, but I didn't see anywhere where Zelensky condemned that behavior. I knew that there was, I think was either the foreign minister, I want to say, or somebody like that had said something about it. And, I don't know that they condemned it, but I don't recall, and I could be wrong. If you know that he did condemn that behavior, maybe you can correct me. I would appreciate it. I don't, but there wasn't much of that. I mean, especially at first. At first, it was like, no, that wasn't happening. No. Basically, it was Black people were lying about the racism coming towards them and coming at them. And then, it was happening more and more and more. And then they couldn't deny it anymore, And so, but there wasn't much of anything coming from the leadership there. And again, I understood in a way because I'm like, okay, you're trying to run a country that is being bombed and, your life is in danger. I think 3 separate times there were hits on, they put out like hit squads on him. So, he had a lot to going on as well. And so I didn't, even though I was like, but I didn't really put it so much on his head because I'm like, okay, he does have a lot of things and maybe, but it's like, when you look at the different decisions after that, you know what I mean? Where they could have said something more, they could have been, and it just didn't pan out like that. Then, so it made me question. It's like, okay. So, but again, I don't know that those decisions to be racist in those situations came from people higher up that told them to do it. I don't know. I don't have any information that was the case. Would I be shocked if that was the case? No, I'm totally not. But I don't have any information that that's the case, so I couldn't say that. Sonia says, Ukraine, that's a very bad choice of Piers Morgan. You have lost me as a supporter. I mean, it's hard to support that. Even if you still, care about Ukraine and even if you still support them, it is a really bad choice. No matter how you look at it and associating yourself with Rupert Murdoch. I mean, what else you want from Rupert Murdoch other than propaganda? Other than fake news? Other than you know what I mean? That's exactly the type of thing that Russia's doing. So different if that's who you're associating with yourself with. So yeah, unreal. Let's see. C-Max says, sounds like Mitch McConnell's wife working for Trump or Jenny Thomas trying to help overthrow the government when her husband is a Supreme Court justice. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but yeah, I know Mitch McConnell's wife what was she like? I think the transport secretary or something when she was working for Trump. And I mean, I still don't get that Jenny Thomas. I'm like, I don't even know how this man is still a Supreme Court judge. I mean, I know they're there for a lifetime. It's like, that's one of the things, those lifetime appointments for me are like, a no. I'm like, they have got to get rid of that lifetime. I mean, there is no way on earth Clarence Thomas and a lot of them, Neil Garouche, and there's no way these people should be there. No way. And yet they are there for lifetime. Unreal. Veronica, hey Veronica. Veronica says, when I saw Ukraine is not letting the Black students on the bus or train, I was not giving them anything. Yeah, it was really hard. It was so disappointing. I mean, I think for me, because I didn't know anything about Ukraine before the war. I literally didn't know anything. and obviously had no idea there were black students there or black people there. It never crossed my mind. So when I heard this was happening, I was like, first of all, I was like, whoa, there are black people in Ukraine. That was my first thought. I was like, I had no idea. I'd never thought of Ukraine before. And so, I mean, I know it was there. I just never, paid attention to what was going on in the country. And so, and then I heard, and it was just like, oh my gosh, and it just, yeah, it's unreal to me. Let's see what others are saying. As I scroll down. Oh, wait, there's something else. Well, actually, let's see. What's Sonia saying? And then we'll jump on what I was going to say. Sonia said the point, my remark was that I supported Ukraine by giving my $50. And the fact that they chose to speak with Piers Morgan, they, Ukraine, have lost my support. Let's hope that's clear. Yeah, I'm right here with you, Sonia. I totally understand this. I mean, how could you, anyone really, as a person who is completely against what Piers Morgan and what Rupert Murdoch and News Corp, which is his company, are about? How could you justify supporting that? I mean, I totally understand where you are, Sonia, and I would feel the same. So I'm right here with you on that one. So yeah, unreal. Did you guys hear about let's see, where is it? Queen Betty seemed to be losing countries all the time. So now I think we're at 0 for 7 of the countries that the Jubilee tour, the shameless offensive tour. One of the nations that they visited, and not Andrew, Edward and Sophie, on their leg of the shameless offensive, they were in St. Vincent. And now, yesterday, we got word that St. Vincent, says St. Vincent Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez, yesterday proposed a single item referendum asking the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to decide whether or not to replace the Britain's Queen Elizabeth with a non-executive, homegrown president as head of state. So they are in the process now of trying to kick Queen Betty to the curb, as we know the others are doing and working. When that's going to happen, we have no idea. But the St. Vincent Times, this is kind of such a weirdly worded article. I was trying to read it. I'm like, huh? Anyway, SVG Prime Minister St. Vincent and the Grenadines PM proposes single item vote to remove Queen as head of state. During Monday's sitting Parliament, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez, proposed to remove the Queen as head of state and replace her with a non-executive president through a single item referendum. As of today, we are 12 years away from the last referendum. I am prepared if, that's what he's saying, I am prepared if the opposition agrees today to put one question in the referendum: to have a homegrown president, a non-executive president, as outlined in the proposed constitution, and let's go with that one issue to the people to complete the national democratic task. And so kudos to St. Vincent. We know one of the countries that they I don't know exactly what they're doing with it at the moment. Grenada, they said no, they didn't want to be part of that whole mess. And so don't know where they are with the Queen and her being head of state at the moment, but definitely the others and now St. Vincent are doing what they need to do to kick Queen Betty to the curb. And it's about time. I think they need to do that. And also they need to kick out the royal family from the Commonwealth. There is no, or at least from head of the Commonwealth. I mean, you can't kick them out of the Commonwealth. I mean, you can probably vote them out. I don't know. I don't think you can because it's a voluntary thing. But as head of the Commonwealth, they should not, I would say this for like a million times, and no member of the royal family should be leading the Commonwealth. None. I don't care who they are. I know some people like maybe Harry and Meghan. No. I love Harry and Meghan to death, but no. No member of the royal family should be leading the Commonwealth. That is, it's the fact that we're even talking about this is ridiculous. We said it, and thank that lady on Twitter who really is the first person that I'd mentioned it, and I love what she said so much. It's like no Jewish person would say yes to a descendant of Hitler being head of an organization that they're part of. None. We would not expect that of them. So therefore, we should not expect anybody in the British royal family and their descendants of those slave traders to be head of a Commonwealth. This is ridiculous, and nobody should expect, especially Black and brown people and nations of mostly Black and brown people to accept that. And for the life of me, I would never understand why they allow this and why they have then voted in and allow Queen Betty to strong arm them into voting Prince Charles as the next Commonwealth leader. And that role goes forever. There is no end date to that role, And so for me, that whole thing is ridiculous. So I don't care who the member of the royal family is, and I don't care how much we love them, but none of them should be head of the Commonwealth. None. So that's my stance on that one. So, Grace says, you mean they should dissolve the Commonwealth? I don't see what, and maybe I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm very much open to being wrong. I don't see what benefit it is to especially Black and brown countries. I don't see what the benefit of it is. I know the leaders look good when they're there and they're taking pictures and they get to have, whatever, but I don't see how it is they're working for the good of the, I look in terms of say, okay, so you have this Commonwealth and the head of the Commonwealth is the royal family. Well, the royal family is, let's just look at, say, the Windrush generation. One of your countries that are in the Commonwealth, Jamaica, has people there that, and they're doing it to other countries as well, but the majority seems from Jamaica, that are treated horrendously in your country. They are being put on planes, deported. You're deporting people who've grown up in the UK for their entire lives. You have made some of them who have worked in the UK stateless. They can't find a job. They are basically in abject poverty, waiting for reparations. You're doing all of these things, and you are right there in the country where you are the head of state. Like, how is this beneficial for the Jamaican people? I don't understand. The Jamaican people that are in your own country, how is this beneficial? And then on top of that, you paraded around their country, eat their food, drink their wine, dance to their music, and left them with a bill. You know what I mean? I don't understand what benefits, just even looking at Jamaica, what has been the benefit? And so I'm like, there is none. So I am yet to hear from, any of, and again, I am open to being wrong. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. I am yet to hear the benefit of what the Commonwealth is. I mean, again, they were just in Rwanda. England, the head of the Commonwealth, their own country, have just, paid Rwanda to bring Black people. Of course, they're not going to ship their white and, people over there. Right. Because they pay people in the UK to house those, but they ship Black refugees off to Rwanda. They were just in Rwanda at the time this was happening. How is this? I mean, shouldn't they be having these, really, if say, okay, it's beneficial to somebody, shouldn't this be at the top of their agenda, calling this stuff out? Instead of all we hear is Prince Charles may or may not have said his disagreement with it or whatever nonsense that whole narrative was. This wasn't at the top. This should have been at the top of their agenda, calling out the head of the Commonwealth's own country. This should have been the top. if there was any benefit, you know what I mean? At least that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm just crazy, and maybe I'm just, because I'm like, you're in a country that the head of the Commonwealth is in that country that they're just, your home office is doing this ridiculously horribly racist thing with, and you're not calling it out. So how is it benefiting people? And so that's my thing. I have yet to hear where the Commonwealth, that organization, the Commonwealth, I'm yet to hear how it's benefiting the people of these nations that all of these leaders are a part of. I don't see the benefit. So yeah, destroy it, abolish it, and put in place an organization led by people, not the royal family, who are really want to work together to build up the Caribbean away from the royal family, to build up the people of the Caribbean and the African nations and the people of the South Pacific who, if they want to come together and do something similar, but really put leaders in place that, will really work for the people as opposed to whatever this thing is. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and you all can tell me. Please do, and correct me. I'm looking into the chat. Joan says, and maybe I'm just trying to, but Joan says the Commonwealth serves no purpose when Black and brown nations have to get visa to visit. There you go. Yeah, there you go. And that's the thing too, with even those visas, like in Jamaica, I think they said that the visas are very expensive to the UK. And it's like, this is a person that the Queen is your head of state, and one, you have to get visa, and then it's very expensive and it takes forever. I mean, it's just, there is no benefit. And especially it's like the Commonwealth is so insulting. There's just, even the name is insulting. Because it's like, you are calling like, oh, we are the Commonwealth, yet, but you're like the only person, the only country that actually have wealth that you've pretty much stolen from the other countries. And so it's like, it is insulting, slap in the face. Even the name of this is just unreal. I mean, there is wealth, but it definitely is not common when you're the only one that has it. Let's see. Regina says, whatever racial discrimination you see in Ukraine, please realize it's no better in Russia. When the USSR wanted to get governments of people of color, they could not go to Russia because of, and it's cut off. So I'm assuming you're going to add more to this, Regina. Let's see, whatever racial discrimination you can, please realize it's no better in Russia. Yeah, I didn't think it was. I mean, someone was just saying that this is all over Europe and stuff. I don't think it was at all. I mean, I just think it's something that is in the culture of Europe, basically. They are just pretty, and again, not everyone is like this, obviously. This is kind of, I just painted a broad stroke, but there are people that are not like this at all, but you see this so often that it's just like, it's a surprise when you don't see racism. That's where I would get surprised, like, oh, really, there's not? So yeah. Let's see. Grace Bedell. Hi, Grace Bedell. It's so funny. The only time I've ever seen that last name is there's a writer. Her name is Sally Bedell, and I was reading a book about the Queen actually when I wanted to. It's like, I don't know, the Queen, and she wrote a book about the Queen, so I was reading it. So that's the only time I've ever seen that last name, Bedell. It's very cool. Grace says, I agree with you, Petal. It does nothing for Australia either. The only benefit is we can join the Commonwealth Games. We love our sports. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I think the Commonwealth Games, isn't that either going on now? I think it should start shortly or something like that. I think so. I think it should be starting shortly, but you're so right. they, at least that's what Edward was talking about when he wasn't listening and writing down what the Antigua prime minister was saying. He wanted to talk about the baton that was going around for the Commonwealth Games. So I think it's the Commonwealth Games is there shortly. But it's really sad. It's really sad that, and especially, that they're at the head of state of your country and there is no benefit. You are paying, whatever it is of your taxes, whatever that's going towards these people, and you don't see any benefit. So I don't understand why continue this year after year when there is really no good reason for them being there. So yeah, I'm all about cutting the fat, and that is like a fat nobody needs. Absolutely not a fat anybody needs. Karen says, Pedal, how are you coming on the press pass for the Invictus Games? I emailed and I'm waiting and waiting. Please keep your fingers crossed. I'm asking. I've emailed them to try to get it, and I have not yet heard back. So I am still keeping my fingers crossed that we can get it, because I really want to go I'm going to go no matter what, but I really would love to go as press to the Invictus Dusseldorf next year. So fingers, toes, and everything is crossed that we can get it. And not just for me. I'm hoping that, we'd get it for a bunch of all of us who especially have, whether it's blogs or podcasts or something like that, whoever is going, that we can go as press, because as we saw in The Hague, most of our stuff came from squaddies who were there and their experiences. And I just literally want to bypass any, especially the British press. I don't want anything from them, because obviously don't believe anything they do and say. And the US press, especially when it has to come with anything royal, I don't trust them either. Because as we've said before, it's just too lazy. The reporting is just too lazy. Cynthia, hi Cynthia Steer, how are you? Cynthia says, at one time, Hungary was open to people of color. Recently, the Prime Minister says they should. Is this just cutting the things off? Why am let's see. One time, recently the Prime Minister said they should. I'm not sure what you mean in the end of it. So maybe you just got, maybe this got posted before you were finished your comment. I'd love to hear what else you wanted to say about that. So please post it. I'd love to see. Bisani, hi Bisani. Bisani says the Commonwealth Games starts in 1900. Oh, okay, there you go. Tomato. The Commonwealth Games starts in 1900 hours. So there we go. I knew it was shortly, or at least I thought, because the World Championships just ended. So there you go. Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Is this true? I saw an article that says that they didn't include the community to help put on the games or something like that. Like the community wasn't involved. I mean, I'm hoping that's not true. Where that the community of Birmingham or wherever else in the UK, I don't know, I wasn't paying that much attention to it, that they involved the communities. That would be kind of stupid to not involve the communities to be able to put the games on, because you want the people there to be part of it. You know what I mean? That's why you put it in their community. So I would hope that report was not true. So yeah, that would be kind of stupid, I would think. Let's see. Joyce Vos. Hi, Joyce. Joyce says those countries should be self-sufficient enough to run themselves. I think this is cutting things off. For some reason, this is, let's see. That's weird. Is this just cutting? Because this is like the third one where someone tried to do something and it just cut off what they're trying to say. And I don't... hang on one second here. Let's try something. Brand bubble block. Let's see. Oh, I was still doing the same thing. Oh, I don't know what is happening. So if you're trying to comment on something and it's cutting off, I don't know. I thought that is weird. I have not seen that before. That is quite weird. Huh. Hmm. Oh, okay. Here's a long one, and it didn't cut off, so I don't know what's going on. Well, let's read this one, Joyce. Joyce says the Queen slid Charles in just before. Oh, the Queen slid Charles in just before Harry and Meghan got married. They used the marriage as a future of the family being progressive with biracial women marrying to family. We now know how badly H&M were. Oh goodness, and it cut off again. Don't know what's happening. But anyways, I totally believe that. I totally believe they used that marriage to make them look like they were really, really forward thinking. And, here they are bringing a biracial woman into their family. And now we know, couple years later, what ended up happening there. And yeah, Charles, they voted for Charles right before Harry and Meghan got married. And that is so sick. And I remember Meghan with the veil thing, and it has all the Commonwealth countries, and it was like really cool nod to Commonwealth countries, and so it just, oh, I'm telling you, they just completely use, they completely use Meghan. They completely used, and oh my goodness, I mean, we've seen how Prince Charles used a baby to hide behind a baby, so what else he wouldn't do, That's not surprising. But it's just, you look back on all those things and you're like, oh wow, that is rotten. It's just really, really rotten. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay. She hit the send button by mistake. Sometimes I hit the send button by mistake before I finish typing. Okay, so that might be why. Okay. Because I was like, why are these things just cutting off? And I was like, I don't know why. StreamYard is weird. Even it's so funny with StreamYard, even like the borders, I was trying to do a cute thing. And when I was doing it in PowerPoint, the borders look really cool. And then I pulled it into StreamYard and it looked like these big, thick black boxes. And I was like, that's not what it looked like. So now I have to go play with the different things because I'm trying to make, make it look a little cuter than just like, I just cut and paste a clip an article or something, which I did, but you kind of want to make it look cool. And then I put the border, and in PowerPoint, it looks so cool. And then I pulled it in here and I'm like, this is not what it looked like. But I didn't have time to go change it. So tomorrow I'll try something else. I'm just, you try to do stuff and it just doesn't work sometimes. So anyways, trial and error. Let's see. I don't know if you guys saw this actually, or even, I don't know if you've, brought it up or anything like this. I saw this on Twitter a couple days ago, and it was so sad when I saw it, because we know that the palace has been doing the most to silence Princess Diana, really, and and especially to destroy Martin Bashir, the black brown guy, the brown man, of all the people who have done damage to Princess Diana. The brown one is definitely the one that they want to destroy. It's like, yeah, right. But this, Royal Suda and Royal Nika, one of our, and I'm just realizing I didn't put her name there. One of, I guess it's a squatty, they just put these two together. And part of what they were trying to say is like, in the same week, Prince Harry was at the UN lauding, his mom and her relationship with Nelson Mandela, and talking so lovingly about her and just being with Nelson Mandela, and talking about two hearts being just sort of like what happens when you meet someone who they have the same heart about things and the same passion about things, what joy that is. And he's lauding them both and picking up his mom. And in the same week you have his brother Prince William, working with the BBC to silence his mother. And it's just such a sad thing to me to know that, to watch Prince William do that. Like, there are so many things that I would think of Prince William, because it's not a person that I like at all. But this is the one that, for me, that surprised me. I would have never thought he would have done something like that. I would have never thought that he would, be the one to talk about his mother being paranoid, and they're using that to silence his mother. And now, of course, the BBC has decided that they are not ever going to air, Diana's interview. So if you have not, downloaded it yet, or, however you got it and have a copy of it, don't expect to see it on the BBC, because they have all participated in silencing Princess Diana's voice in this way. Thank God, she has, the Morton, what is his name? Morton, Andrew Morton's book. And then also there is the Diana in Her Own Words, which I have. So, and I mean, of all the things I would have thought Prince William would have done, this was not one I would have thought. I would have thought that he would have fought, to keep his mom's voice there. But again, he is so much about wanting his day in the monarchy and wanting to be, they don't want anything, because when you think about what Princess Diana said there, anything that speaks negatively of the royal family, they want the silence. And that is the same thing that they're doing with Prince Harry. It's like, there's a reason why everything Harry says is, oh, he's crazy. Oh, it's a lie. Oh, it's, you know what I mean? It's the same thing they're doing with Meghan. Anything to discredit them so they can, claim that they're crazy. They're, whatever, pick a word. Exactly what they're doing to Harry and Meghan now is what they did to Princess Diana. And they would do anything to silence Harry and Meghan. And it's just, it's just really, really sad to watch one brother there in the UN stand up before the world in the UN, lauding his mom, and one trying to silence her. And I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know. It's just like, ugh. I'm so happy that Princess Diana came back from the grave and snatched her good looks from that horrible one in the UK. Just snatched it away from him, because he does not deserve it. Unreal. But I am happy that we still are able to, again, if you don't know and have not heard it, it's really powerful, especially the Princess Diana in her own words, to hear her voice. And it's like, there is nothing that she told Martin Brashear that people didn't already know. There is literally nothing. Even in Lord Dyson's report, the report that they're all talking about, and the report that came out where that was when Prince William did his speech that his mother was paranoid and all those things. In the report itself, the Lord Dyson said, if Princess Diana did not give that interview with Martin Bashir, she would have done it with someone else. Robert Jobson, who, he's a royal reporter that whatever you think of Robert Jobson, cannot stand him. But he was working with the Express at the time all this was happening. He literally was defending Princess Diana. He's like, she was not paranoid. And he even said, and this is a royal reporter working for the Express, said, even if she was paranoid, she had every reason to. He said that on Obed Scobie's podcast. She had every reason to. Because your mother too, your husband is cheating on you, and then gaslighting you on top of it. And then you have the palace coming. I mean, there was so many things. People, bugged her phone. I mean, they think the squidgy tape and all of those things. If she was paranoid, she had every reason and every right to be, because of what they were doing in the palace. So it's like they're coming at Martin Bashir for revealing that. And they are not taking responsibility for the fact that even if Princess Diana was paranoid, it had nothing to do with Martin Bashir. It had to do with what the royal family, what Prince Charles and those in the royal family did to her. So the fact that they're coming and trying to blame her, it's like ridiculous. Yes, what Martin Bashir did was wrong. No reporter should be using these means that he did. It was wrong. He acknowledged it. He said it was wrong. He knows it's wrong. That is wrong. But he did not make Princess Diana say what she said. Again, I will go back to Lord Lord Dyson's, what he said in that report, that very report, that if Princess Diana did not speak to Martin Bashir, she would have done the same thing with somebody else. It just happened to be him at this time. So that's, but for me, it's really just sad to watch. And I think, honestly, been thinking about this. We need to have a Princess Diana Day, like a Princess Diana's Words Day, where maybe, we have like a play or something like that, where we recreate either the interview or something. And, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should just do it. Never mind. Just ignore I just said that. We should have a Princess Diana's Words Day so that her words is never silent, basically is what I want to say. That, because you don't want to silence such a powerful person's voice. She spoke her truth. She knows what she was saying. She knew what she wanted to say. She was not sorry. She knew she was perfectly fine with Martin Bashir. She was not, it wasn't, whatever he did, it was not the reason why she wanted to say what she wanted to say. And she said what she said. And we need to respect that. So the fact that the royal family is not respecting it and now silencing her, they should be challenged, so. And the fact that it's kind of like Prince Charles, I mean, after what you did to your ex-wife, that you want to be part of silent. I mean, the audacity of these people is unreal to me. Absolutely unreal. Terry says, it doesn't matter if Bashir got the interview under false pretense. Diana wanted to tell her story. Exactly. She said what she said. She wanted to tell the story. She wanted to speak her truth. She wanted to say, I mean, again, Prince Charles, was it the year before, talked about their marriage breaking down. It's not like this interview broke up her marriage. The marriage was already over, She didn't say anything that people didn't already know, other than, the sensational thing that came out of it was that there are 3 people in the marriage. But, I mean, people already knew that there were 3 people, and she wasn't saying anything that was revolutionary, So, again, it's... let's see. Annie says, hello, Annie. Annie says, they cannot erase Diana or Meghan. The mind is like a recording. Hit play and it will tell all. And, I would hope that's the case, especially now, and now that we have social media. But what we know is they will go back and they will change things. I mean, hello, even though there is the internet, even though we can fact check them in real time, they will sit in front of your face and lie. And one of the reasons, one of our squaddies, Royal_reporter, she archives articles, because what they have been doing is going back and either deleting those articles, their original articles, or editing them, changing the narrative in those articles. There are so many things that, even the article, I think it was like a reporter from the UK. They were trying, when this whole thing with that Nasty Man's book came out, they had written a thing about Camilla. And she was trying to find the article. They erased the article. And so that's why Royal_reporter, she archives things. So even if they delete their article or change the original, we have the archive version, the original archive version. And that's why she does it. Because they would erase things. And they will sit there bold-faced and tell you, oh, no, you're wrong. They will gaslight you. It's unreal how, the journalism in the UK is, literally, they will need to improve to get to cesspool. They really will need to do that, because it's so the bottom, scraping the dregs on the bottom of cesspool. They literally will need to look up to get to cesspool level. It is unreal that they do that stuff, and they get away with that. They totally get away with it. And Carolyn says, well, it shows us that William is a chip off the old block, chalk, trying to erase his mother. Harry is Diana's true son, and he's continuing her legacy. I can't disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that. And there's a narrative like, oh, William was older, so he saw his mother for what she was and all of that stuff. But I'm like, you knowing what your father did to your mom, like I couldn't. I mean, and not that you want a child to hate one and the other. You know what I mean? You love them both, but you don't expect that a child would go and literally try to silence his mother. Like I can't even. That just boggles my mind. After knowing what she has gone through and after knowing what the press has done to her, like I can't imagine why you would want to do that. Why you do that? It's unreal to me. Let's see, a couple more. I'm just realizing, like, oh my gosh, we've been talking, and I've been like, as my grandmother said, running my mouth for 2 months, for 2 hours. Let's just a couple more before we go. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Joan says what Diana said is repeated in Morton's book. So, however the interview was obtained, these are Diana's words and truth. Absolutely. And now that they've gone after the BBC, I wouldn't be surprised if they now turn their attentions again to Andrew Morton. Because I know when it came out, I think when Andrew Morton's book first came out, there was a big brouhaha about it, obviously. When you don't paint the royal family in a good light, there is always a brouhaha. So I wouldn't be surprised if something is, if they start turning their attention. And the thing about it too, that I keep wondering, I don't know if you guys have thought about it, is what is Diana's brother's deal? Like, because all of these things started coming out when he started cozying up with the Daily Mail, because they were the ones that started reporting about, the fresh thing with Martin Brashear, and he's talking about his, how Martin Brashear groomed him, and so that he's the one, because he's the one that introduced him to Princess Diana. And he recently did another interview with the Daily Mail and stuff, and I'm like, what is his deal? What is he getting out of this? What is Charles Spencer getting out of all this? Because anytime you align yourself with the Daily Mail, I question, i.e. Prince Charles and Camilla using a Daily Mail editor to now be their press secretary. And the same thing here. And it's just like, it makes me go, So Charles Spencer is in bed with the Daily Mail. The royal, Prince Charles and Camilla are in bed with the Daily Mail. We know Prince William is in bed with the Daily Mail. And all of a sudden, there's this thing about, using the Daily Mail to basically spearhead this thing against Martin Brashear and the BBC. It's like, what is he getting out of this exactly? And so that's been the question I've been asking. I don't know, if anybody has reported about this or anybody has, there are things that makes me go, And it's like, is he really doing it out? And again, I don't want to question his love for his sister, but it makes me really question what his motives are. Is it really because, but then again, it's like, why would you want your sister's voice silenced? Because I remember when there was a video about when Princess Diana died, and his speech at the funeral, it was very critical, at least about the royal family. And then all of a sudden now it's kind of like he's working with the royal family to silence his sister. Like, why would you want your sister, knowing what she went through with the royal family? Why would you be on that side though? And so it really makes me question Charles Spencer and his motives. And it's like, for me, it feels like he is working with William and Charles to silence Princess Diana. And I could be wrong, and I don't have evidence for that, but that's what it seems to me, because they're all doing pretty much the same thing. And so these people they are treacherous. I'm just happy our faves are in Montecito, away from all that mess, because goodness grievances. Let's see, one more. Let's see. Sonia says, in their zeal to erase Princess Diana and put, I don't use that word, I would say Camilla, in a better light. They don't care if they drag her memory in the dumps. So we are going to make sure it does not happen. And absolutely, absolutely, Sonia, absolutely. And that's why I've been thinking about a Princess Diana's Words Day, or her voice day, because it's like they are definitely doing the most to try to erase this woman's erase her words, erase her experience, and then calling her paranoid. I mean, the nerve. This is how they gaslight people. They treat you horribly, and then when you respond or whatever, then they gaslight you. And then, all of a sudden she's paranoid when, oh my goodness, this is how narcissistic people behave, And so it's unreal to me that they are allowed to get away with this. But I definitely think we need a day where it's like, Princess Diana's voice, and not just a day, but whatever. Bisani says Earl Spencer can't be trusted. He swore blind to look after Diana's children in his eulogy. At the funeral, he has never defended Harry and Meghan, and that is so true. He never has, and I don't think he actually ever even held up that promise of taking care of Harry and the other brother. I don't think he ever did it. So it's very fishy to me, because all of a sudden, like, oh, my sister, or my because also too, I remember when what's his name, the guy who was like, I think he was one of the chef for Princess Diana, and he is on Twitter, like Royal Chef or something like that. I don't remember. I think his name is Darren something. Darren, he's a chef. He used to work with Princess Diana. He actually even worked with Oprah for a little bit. He went to, because as we know, Princess Diana is buried on the Spencer property in the UK, and that Charles Spencer run, I think it's called like Althorp House, I think is what it's called. And so that's where Princess Diana grew up. And so she is buried on that property. And so this guy, Darren, went there, I think it was 2014 or something, and he took pictures. The place was overgrown. The pond, I guess, where she is buried, there's like a pond around her, was disgusting. And he even wrote a thing on Twitter, and he says, if when I worked for Princess Diana, if this is the way I took care of her, I would be fired. And so when he wrote that post, and other people, and I saw other videos of people who had gone there, and they were very upset. They went to visit her, grave and all of that. It was dirty. The pond was a mess. It was overgrown. Charles Spencer wasn't taking care of it. And so when all of this came out, I guess he got money from somewhere, and they did like a whole renovation. And I guess I'm assuming they renovated Althorp House as well, but they did a whole renovation of the pond and the area where Princess Diana's body is. And so at least when I saw a picture, I don't know what it looks like now. Hopefully they've kept it up, and they started cleaning up, but it was a mess. I mean, I saw videos of people really upset that this is what they did, and that they are, they claim to love her, yet they weren't taking care of people of the place where she was laid to rest. Like, you see pictures of the pond, it was gross, and that's why Darren, whatever his name is, the chef, posted that. He's like, if I took care of her, if that was what I did, I would be fired. And so I think he basically embarrassed them into taking care of that. And for me, that's why, again, Earl Spencer is like, I don't really trust his motives at all in this. Would I be surprised if money is involved? No, I would not be surprised at all. And Living in the Triangle says, hi Lit, says, using Princess Diana's burial site for money now. I think part of Althorp House is like, I guess it's like a museum, I guess, because I know they have like a store, like a bookstore and all of that stuff in there. And I'm assuming you have to pay to go there. So I would think they are making money off of it. I would think so, because you can go there as a tourist and go visit. So yeah, and that was when I saw the video of someone who had gone there quite a few years ago and was very upset because of it. It looks like an abandoned or overrun place, and they were very upset, and they posted the video. So, Black Queen says, let's blow up Archie and Lily's grandmother on social media platforms. Princess Diana, you will never be forgotten. And we will end that there. Absolutely. We will never, ever forget Princess Diana. She's going to make sure, as a squad, we make sure that happens. So I have an idea. Hopefully we'll be able to we'll be able to do it, but to make sure that Princess Diana's voice and her words are not forgotten and it's not silenced. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for the last 2 hours. Sorry, Mom, I've been running my mouth for 2 hours. No wonder my voice go out sometimes. I think I talk way too much. But thank you guys. So happy to be able to come back on and just hang out for a couple of hours and talk stuff that's been going on. I'm happy that our faves are just minding their business under a tree. They'll come out when they want to, and we're just very patient. Let them take whatever time they want, doing whatever it is they're doing. But I'm just happy that we are able to just hang out for a bit and just chat. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow, Lord willing. Thank you guys so much for your support. I think I have this. Before I go, I know people were asking about this. For Meghan's birthday, the squad is doing a fundraiser for Sentebale. And so as you can see on the screen, August 4th to September 15th, you are cordially invited to participate in the Sussex Squad fundraiser benefiting the young people of Sentebale in the joint celebration for Princess Meghan and Prince Harry. And you will irritate everybody on Twitter that hate Harry and Meghan if you say Princess Meghan. So please say Princess Meghan always. Compassion in action, services universal. Happy birthday, Meghan. Happy birthday, Harry, and blessings to Sentebale. Those are the hashtags we'll be using. So if you're on social media, please use those hashtags so we can get that trending always. And I don't know that there is a total that they're trying to hit. Don't know. We'll know when that, I guess, the thing goes up on live, so fund donations can start coming in. But again, August 4th, Meghan's birthday to Harry's birthday on September 15th, we will be supporting Sentebale. Prince Ciso, as we know, that is an organization that Prince Harry and Prince Ciso, his other brother in Lesotho, that they started in honor of their moms. And it's amazing that we've been talking about Princess Diana this whole time. We need to talk, and I was trying to find out some things about Prince Ciso's mom, and I would love to really look more into finding out more about his mom, because obviously his mom passed away as well. So they'll be doing that. So we will be doing that, supporting them. This is another version of that. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Here we go. Move myself out of there so you can see. So it's the same thing. It's just another version of what I just read. I like this. It looks like a postcard. So anyways, so that's what we'll be doing for August 4th to September 15th. Again, no obligation. If you are able to, great. If you're not, other ways that you can support, like sharing, telling your friends about it. They might be able to support sharing it, liking it, whatever, just to support the foundation. Whatever it is you can afford, it is not too small. All of it is welcome. All of it is appreciated. So yeah, so that's it. That is it for the day. Thank you guys for supporting us as a as a podcast. Let's put that up there. Our 2 Cents crew, that's Sparta, who has been supporting us monthly. Thank you all so much. We have and I said those names up before, but thank you guys so much for just really, your generosity has been amazing. We have some new members who are 2 Cents crew members. Lydia, what happened? It's like, did you drop off and come back? I was like, why is Lydia new again? But Lydia, you've been so supportive. I appreciate it. Sonia, Georgia, V. Thomas, Arnold, and Elaine and Lydia again coming back again. Thank you all so much that for being part of our 2 Cents crew that has been supporting us. We really, really, really appreciate your support. Really, just it's been amazing. So thank you. And again, No obligation. There are many ways you can support us, either in the chat, either out of the chat. There's a super thanks on the bottom of the video. We have PayPal, Cash App. Not obligated. If you want to, we appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic time. Baron is coming up soon. We'll jump in there in a little bit and hang with Baron, but we're going to be out of here with some music. That doesn't want to come on. There we go. There's our music. All right, my friends. I love you all. See you next time. Bye. Have a fab day. Oh, wait. Before I even go. Dawn, thank you. I did not even see this. Thank you so much for your super sticker. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I missed anybody else. I'm crazy. It's kind of like freewheeling it today. But thank you so much. Thank you for your super sticker. Let's just make sure I didn't miss anyone else before I jet out of here. Thank you all so much. I love you all. See you. Bye.